have a laughing fit.
Happy Friday, folks. You're joining us with a little bit of a laughing fit. We're having some fun this morning together. Back for another strategy talk. This is a fun topic for us in particular because we offer the vCMO or Virtual Chief Marketing Officer service. And we've gotten a lot of requests recently for this. I know we're having a major shift in the economy and shifting more to a gig economy, leaning into those experts. So we want to talk a little bit about what does it mean to have a vCMO? Why should you consider a vCMO, particularly for those SMBs? So Angie, why don't you kick us off with just some intro thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is one of my favorite topics because, we've been doing this for 10 years now together, and we've had clients that we had for a considerable number of years, like 4 or 5, that eventually bring in a CMO. Some of it works and is effective and very successful, and others, like I'll hear a year or 2 later that person is gone and is no longer with the organization. It kind of makes you speculate, like what happened, what went wrong. And so because that's a big investment in someone. A CMO doesn't make a small salary, right? They make a large salary, and it's very hard, having been doing this myself for over 30 years, it's very hard to know everything about marketing today or to be really like such an expert in everything, right? You can be well versed and you can keep yourself educated, which I try to do, to oversee others that are the experts, right?
Yes.
And so when you think about what's happening is that if you hire a CMO, that's going to be them probably. And then they're going to have to hire anyhow, right? They're going to have to hire or consult out with others that are experts. So a vCMO allows you to do that at a much a lower price point, right? Mm-hmm. In a monthly retainer, getting an expert, someone who's been in and around marketing for a lot of years that understands the general idea and the structure and the strategy and how it works, and has connections, a lot of times really awesome connections to experts that they can plug into your team, and they manage it. So that allows you to not have the worry of managing. Taxes and tags are a lot lower. And so it's just such an excellent, exciting model that can open up businesses that may not even be able to afford to do some of these things, right? And for larger businesses, it allows freedom. A lot of times those vCMOs will even be able to plug into a current marketing team, right? And kind of lead strategy, lead projects, find the experts that plug into that team to give them that just next level of expertise. So I think it's an amazing strategy. I'm so excited to be part of it with YaZo, and to see it continue to grow and more companies be interested. So I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it.
Well, I mean, I feel like you've gave us a great starting point, and I want to go through. We're going to go through probably 3 to 5 reasons why you should consider it, or at least evaluate it for your business, particularly those SMBs. But how you framed it up is a perfect jumping point. It's all about cost effectiveness, and not just cost effectiveness, but getting strategic leadership and allowing that to drive data-driven strategy internally at your business. So let's just start though with the cost element, the cost-effective piece. And this isn't YaZo's data. This is actually data from it's called Exit 5, an organization, and it's focusing on the average B2B marketing salaries by title and function. For most vCMOs, I would consider those to be marketing generalists. And if you look at just the director level, marketing generalists at the director level are starting at 131,000 plus. If you shift up to a senior director, you're at 183,000 plus. You get into a VP, you're at 186,000 plus. And then when you hit your CMO, you're at 217,000 plus. So again, to your point, Angie, it's not cheap. And marketing is essential to your business. It is really the lifeblood of your business. Marketing and sales really should be tied together. It should not be siloed, but marketing is a huge piece of your business, your branding, your messaging, and your positioning to your target audience, your customers. So I think that's really, really important to consider it from a cost perspective. Just looking at that, you're talking about at a minimum, probably $12,000 a month in salary, plus taxes
Yes.
and tags, to your point, plus benefits. What does the compensation package look like? On our end at YaZo, our vCMO models start at $3,500 plus, and they go all the way up to 10,000 plus a month, plus ad spend, right? You know, folks that have ad spend, we will be working with that. But just from the retainer model, you're already seeing the cost savings there. And what we
Yes.
do at YaZo, to your point early on, is that we are a lean machine. We connect ourselves with expert consultants that maybe they have expertise in SEO or AI contextual search, or maybe they have expertise in paid ad management across Meta, Google, LinkedIn. Perhaps they're a web developer, perhaps they're a graphic designer, or they're more of a strategist, copywriter. We have that team of consultants that helps us to bolt on that expertise in addition to our strategic expertise, project management, and account oversight that we're providing.
Right.
That just that packaged up together is way more than you would get from just the salary alone of a CMO. So we always like to talk about this because this is really the area of, if you can free up some of that capital, it also allows you to experiment, in your marketing space, right? It's if you have some of that extra budget, you can say, hey, well, we wanted to try an annual event. We wanted to try some paid ads. Let's free up some ad spend. We wanted to do some traditional marketing. We wanted to do a little bit more of a campaign, a true campaign across multi-channels. But you've really been bogged down by paying a CMO and you don't have those funds to do that. And to your point early on, CMO more often than not needs to go out and get those experts to help them execute
Right.
as well.
And that's not even a negative. It's just,
It's just, it's
honestly,
reality.
you can look this up. Like if you research this, it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of stuff out there. Like it's very hard as quick as things are changing. People understand this now because they see what's happening with AI. But like for someone to come in and say, I'm an expert in all that is like almost like hard to believe, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of information out there on hiring and recruiting because checking skills is super important now because of that. So it's just also a warning, like be careful at some level of what somebody is going to do like tactilely in your business versus what are they going to manage? And how does that leave you from a budget perspective?
It's so good. And I think this goes right into one of the other points that I wanted to talk about, which is bridging that critical marketing leadership gap, right? So right now, perhaps you don't have a CMO and you don't have the budget to hire a CMO. So you have that gap and you've got your leadership team, or perhaps you're trying to pull sales in or someone from operations or just oversight, your GM, and having them act as a marketer. But really in 2025, SMBs are seeing, and I'm sorry, I'm looking left here, just a little bit of data. Over half, 55% of small business owners describe themselves as not skilled at all or only slightly skilled in branding, marketing, and design. So if that's falling on your plate, that's a skills gap. And if, to compound that on a broader talent shortage, over a fifth of business owners, so about 22%, have no interest in seeking that expertise for themselves. They would rather have someone else do it, right? So that's a time constraint. This is a big piece of how a vCMO can plug in for you to help fill that gap very quickly. So there's that immediate strategic impact by having a virtual CMO get plugged into your environment, figure out what you've done in the past, where do you want to go, what does your growth trajectory look like, and then help plug those strategies in. And that's the beautiful part of what I love doing at YaZo, is we get to work with new clients, get to see what they've tried, what they don't know, frankly, but they have a goal. And then we get to help put that strategy in place to say, okay, here's the path forward.
Right. And I think one thing I'll say about that too is like, you also have to be willing to, like, I would say don't bring on a VC, like, because there's also times when a vCMO is not a fit. So like,
exactly,
don't bring in a vCMO if you're not going to be willing to do any new things in marketing, because you're really just at that point wasting money, because their role really is to get you ramped up across the board, like on the basic stuff, and then take you to the next level. Like, okay, now we can add this. We can, maybe you're great for streaming ads in the industry you're in. things that you may not have thought about. But if you're just like, if you already know this is our marketing budget and you're going to be spending that on just the vCMO, it's kind of almost like it might not be the right fit for your organization.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's really important to consider that, because when you go forward and you make this investment, you need to make sure that that investment is going to get a return, right? So that's the other piece of a vCMO is what's the ROI look like? So we talked about a data-driven strategy. We talked about implementing processes and more opportunities for campaigns. That's something that you have to take a look at what your spend is, what is the end result, so you can have some form of an ROI. More often than not, people go out and they make a hire, but they don't actually attach ROI to that hire, right? So that's the other benefit of a vCMO is when we go through and we approach these things together, we're outlining where are you trying to grow and how can we measure that growth from an ROI perspective. And reporting is a huge element of that. So I absolutely agree with you there.
Yeah, and some of the, like, if you're in tech right now, if you're in AI and you're growing, that's where it's such a great fit for them, that those organizations, like, it's just fast growing, rapidly growing startups. Like, this is like the perfect model.
And it is, because the other area where vCMOs really excel, and we excel at YaZo, is integrating your marketing and automation to help streamline your processes, whether that's email marketing, SEO, lead gen, campaign tracking. It should not always be siloed. There should be a way to automate and streamline those processes, to pull all of that data together and to look at it as like a full comprehensive review of what's being done in your marketing world. Because I can't tell you how many times we've worked with clients that they don't know what they don't know because they don't have access to it and they don't know where to find it.
Right.
The other area that I think is really, really important, and we talked about this a little bit early on, is that the flexibility and the scalability to really match your business needs. When you hire someone internally, you can't say, okay, I'm hired you today at 100 and whatever, 50,000 for easy math. And then come Q2, well, we're kind of ramping marketing down for this quarter, so I'm only going to pay you 100 grand. That's
right.
You can't do that, right? The scalability of a vCMO model is really saying, okay, here's our flatline retainer. But if we want to scale up for a quarter and add on paid ads, we can do that. If we want to scale up and add on a traditional, whether it's radio, a mailer campaign, or we want to build up and do a production for a video campaign to get video assets, you can push and pull on those levers with a vCMO more than you can with a CMO, because that CMO you're locked into that salary.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's amazing. And the fact that even though we have contracts, you're not like, it's not hard to get out. Like, I don't want to say it's not hard to get out of, but like the goal is to be committed, right? Because in any marketing strategy, we're going to be honest and tell you, like, if you're not committed to this for X long, you're not going to see results. But it's a lot easier to, get out of your 30-day with a 30-day notice out of a vCMO contract than it is to go through releasing a CMO from your employment.
So
right.
True. Absolutely.
So, I mean, there's negatives too. I mean, people will say we hire internally because we have a culture and we want them to fit and everybody to know. And that is something that is a little bit more difficult to do with a vCMO. I think we do a great job of it, assimilating into a team and becoming part of the team, but it isn't the same as coming and being at the office every day. And you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to mislead. You have to weigh your pros and cons.
Exactly. And that's why we wanted to do this conversation. It's why you should consider it. It's not why you should do it, but why you should consider it. It's where are you today? Where are you trying to go? What is the best path forward to get to that point? And it's frankly, it's a major shift. We are shifting into a gig economy. We are shifting into people wanting to have experts.
We're already there. I mean,
we are absolutely there. And I think the other area that's really driving this, to your point early on, is the ever evolving trends. Add in AI into it, things are changing on a regular basis. And that's part of what, we bring at YaZo, is trying to stay ahead of those leading trends. How is that trend applicable to your business, and how can we make it work for you? And yes, a CMO can do that. But when you have a vCMO and you have a team that allows specific individuals to search those trends, like yourself and what you do for YaZo, that's a huge bonus for folks, because again, you can't stay on top of everything, particularly with how fast marketing is moving these days.
And I mean, even for us, it's frustrating when we don't have a vCMO contract. Maybe we're just doing some social work or something, and then the client goes and hires somebody else doing something else, and then they hire somebody else doing it here, and we hear it, and we're just like, none of this is connected, and it's not even the same messaging. And it frustrates us as strategists. We're like, I know you don't want to be CMO and you don't want us doing this, but really you need to let your marketing team, even if they're just consultants, know what each other's doing, because you're wasting your money to silo those things. Absolutely. So we get frustrated with that, like in some of our clients that don't do vCMOs, like, at least just tell us that you're hiring and get our opinion on it. Not that we're going to tell you not to do it, but we're going to give you the truth, like, of the matter of like, this should be connected to that. And it would save you money and you would have a higher result, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of what your marketing leader or vCMO or CMO should be doing is weighing in on that. So just to kind of recap where we're at, because I know what you and I have a tendency to just chat. So let's do a little bit of a recap here. Really the top 5 reasons why you should consider a vCMO if you're an SMB in 2025 and looking ahead to 2026. That's kind of crazy to say. We're halfway through 2025. So let's just review these together. It's cost-effective access to senior level marketing expertise. That's point number 1. There's cost savings there. Number 2, being able to bridge that critical marketing leadership gap. Again, just kind of going back to some of those statistics, there's a lot of owners that don't have any skill, or they're slightly skilled in the marketing space. And there's the other folks that don't really have any interest in finding that skill or working on that skill. In addition to that, they don't even know where to seek design and marketing support. So the vCMO really is that person that will be able to point you in the right directions. Number 3 is rapid implementation and immediate strategic impact. So when a vCMO comes on, we can really take a look at what you're doing today. Where are there areas of opportunity? Where are there low-hanging fruit? How can we implement a process to take advantage of those opportunities to see real immediate strategic impact? So that speed of execution is a huge piece of the vCMO model. And the last 2 things, number 4 is it's really enhanced marketing performance through data-driven strategy. That's what we hang our hat here on at YaZo, is looking at data to drive our strategy. Particularly now as AI enhances all of the marketing workflows, we have the opportunity to be hyper-personalized. We really are focusing on data-driven strategy. So that's a big piece of vCMO world.
Yes.
And last but not least, and I think really this is the area that's probably the most impactful, is the flexibility and scalability to match your business needs. And that's part of what we do at YaZo. Is when we go through discovery with you, we will sit down to say, okay, what are you doing today? What are you trying to accomplish? Here's where we think you should be spending your dollars to get the biggest ROI. And then we can bolt on those solutions for you to put that package together that you really can look at and say, okay, I'm spending X and I'm getting Y. Whereas when you have a salary, it's I'm spending X and Y could be unknown. So I just think it's an area where folks should kind of take a look at what do they have today and where are they trying to go, and how can a vCMO enhance that?
Yep. It's an exciting topic.
It is. If y'all are out there and you're considering this and you want to have a discovery conversation, you know where to find us, yazogroup.com, or feel free to reach out to Angie and I on LinkedIn. We'd love to have a conversation with you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, or if there's a topic that you guys would like us to focus on going forward, we'd love to hear it. But we appreciate you giving us some time. Have a beautiful rest of your Friday and a blessed weekend. Thanks, everybody.
Yes. See you.